it's different. It's unique. That's the beauty of boxing. So boxing is called the sweet science. Some Shifu, some Kung Fu masters, they're very selective. Who you gonna share or who you gonna teach the art? The guy basically beat two people at the same time, and he used his Kung Fu, defending himself and everything. He beat the guys up. So half hour, 15 minutes later, the guys came back with guns and unfortunately killed the guy. It's
Evil
like
fucking spirits.
aggression, but like the beauty of martial arts is that you tame your own demons.
Yes. Oof.
Then the second day is a complementary training session, and during that is like you're gonna pick the right exercise for the person, because everybody moves in a certain way.
Yeah.
Everybody has different needs, and
That's true.
it's basically like put the right exercise for that person. They don't do it because they think it's a magic pill. It's not a magic pill. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, and like the best thing that I can do as a coach or personal trainer, inspire discipline. Because motivation is like, it's like the waves.
It's the conversation. Yeah. Take your mind different places. Now you know.
So yeah, we got Jose in the crib. What's good, man?
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
I
No,
appreciate
thank you. No, thank you for coming through. And how was your journey over here?
it.
I always ask everybody that because New York could be kind of crazy, right? Like,
It is.
you get on the train and you're like, yo, what the fuck is going on?
No, coming here, it was, I can say, all right, because, New York is New York. It doesn't matter where you go. Sometimes, there's going to be unexpected things happening.
Yeah.
Where you go, it can be a bomb screaming, out loud, and the, where you are, people fighting and stuff. Well, it's just random stuff. That's why New York is sometimes very interesting.
That's why it's good that you learn how to protect yourself.
Correct.
Exactly. So, all right, talk to me about what began you getting into boxing.
Well, originally I've been practicing martial arts since I was 14 years old. And basically, when I came here to the United States, I started practicing mixed martial arts. First of all, it was like Sanda. Then after Sanda, I went to study with...
Sanda? What do you mean Sanda?
Sanda is Chinese kickboxing. It was very popular back early in the 2000s. And I got the opportunity to learn in a gym with a good Shifu master. David Ross was his name, down to earth. He basically told it like it is, and he was a nice Shifu. After that, I decided to go and move to train Muay Thai with Ajaran field nurse. I got into competition, a couple of fights over there. In 2014, I was amateur champion. Next year, I participated in an open division. I got second place over there. Then I started training mixed martial arts. I tried to become a professional fighter, but you have to have like a certain amount of fights as an amateur to become professional, to be considered. You got the skills to eventually to become a professional. Well, let's see, but it's a long journey. But I try to do as many fights as possible as an amateur, but things didn't work out because you gotta have your finances on point, on check. And
because everything is correlated, right?
Yes, correct. And if you don't have a good job, good source of income,
how are you gonna survive?
How are you gonna survive here if you're for yourself?
And if you gotta train, you gotta eat more.
Exactly. It's tough out there. Going back to the question, boxing is like one of the most fundamental aspects in contact sport, especially in MMA and Muay Thai. So when I was training under Phil Nurse, Phil Nurse got another coach. Her name is Susan Reno. And Susan Reno basically taught me like the basic skills of boxing. And I became interested about it. She taught me a lot in fundamentals and stuff. And basically, the rest is the story. It's basically like, training day to day, perfecting the techniques, because it's just 4 punches. But out of the 4 punches, you're gonna basically train over and over again, over and over again, make it like a second nature in your body. And basically, it's gonna be something that is gonna be ingrained on yourself. You're gonna make it your own style. So if you see a boxing match, you're gonna see how fighters make their own style. The way Muhammad Ali fights is one way. The way Mike Tyson styles, you see, is like.
Would you say that the best boxers then, or the best fighters, came up with their own styles?
Pretty much. I mean, the coach is basically
like you have the base. You gotta come to have your own style with it.
Exactly. It's gonna be your own nature, and the coach is basically gonna help you, assist you, exactly, and helping you and to find out your own style, your own rhythm, because each fighter is different. It's unique. That's the beauty of boxing. So boxing is called the sweet science. Because the sweet science. It's because like it's basically, you're just gonna use your both arms. But there is so much depth into that sport that it's a science. It's basically like rhythm. Out of rhythm is also the style that you're gonna develop, how you're gonna incorporate, your own anatomy, and fighting other people.
Right.
Endurance, strength,
and
power.
tú eres de Venezuela, ¿verdad?
Yeah.
Like how was it going from Venezuela, learning how to fight, probably getting to street fights out there, and then having to come over here.
Yeah.
And then dealing with people out here, and then realizing, oh man, I've seen this already. Get out my face or whatever.
So here's the thing. I started when I was 13 years old, and it was like interesting because I remember that back in the days, in the early 90s, when I was like 12, 11 years old, I saw a lot of kung fu movies. Back in the days, Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, all these people. And I wanted to learn so badly martial arts. I went to the library back over there and started learning like Japanese jiu-jitsu. And I remember that my uncle, he was, I can say, an interesting person. And unfortunately, he, instead of encouraging me, he basically like belittled me. And somehow like, hey, you're stupid. Don't, how the fuck you gonna learn from a book and stuff? But I was trying, watching, emulating and stuff. And somehow, 2 years later, I met this gentleman. And I remember my good friend, he introduced me to me. And he said, hey, he's a kung fu master. He's phenomenal, man. You gotta see what he does and stuff. And his name is Johnny Alberto Gonzalez, Shifu Johnny, from Colombia. He learned from this kung fu master from China. He emigrated from China to Colombia back when it was, I guess, like, during the Cultural Revolution, I think. And he immigrated to Colombia. He did his own thing. He got his own business in, how you say, lavanderia, laundromat?
Laundromat?
Yeah. And he somehow met my Shifu. And my Shifu started learning from him. Traditional Kung Fu from the South.
Oh shit.
And the reason is like people that were not, I can say, share the same like ideology, the political ideology, communism and everything. Like they somehow they got into a lot of problems. Most of the people that they didn't like support the idea of the communism, and they were vocal about it. They basically like, hey, they gotta go.
That's
And
how
some of them.
that's how it was back in the day, right? Where it was more so like everyone was stuck to their own style, and they were not mixing. Is that what you mean, or no?
No, I mean like, what do you mean in the political idea or the kung fu idea?
Kung fu, like also like
Yeah,
they stick to their own practice.
yeah,
Right? It's
exactly.
very, like,
Yeah, they were like not like a cult, but basically they try to share to the right people. Because here's the thing, martial arts is a serious thing.
okay, it's dangerous, so you can't just give that off to the wrong people.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
And especially like some sifu, some kung fu masters, they're very selective. Who you gonna share or who you gonna teach the art? Because not everybody can have like.
That's interesting because I did boxing too, right, when I was younger, and
Yeah.
like I remember the shout out Butch, but Butch, like he gave me like a low key little interview kind of like he asked me like why I even wanted to learn how to
Exactly,
fight. Like,
exactly, yes,
yeah,
yes.
I remember that.
And-
That was crazy.
and man, the thing is, once you start getting good at this, you gotta be mindful of like stay outside of troubles.
Oh yeah.
Because you become a walking weapon.
Yeah, and you're also like, I mean, I don't know about you, but I feel like once you know how to fight, you don't want to fight.
Exactly.
And then like also if you get into a fight, you're doing the most minimal shit just to like stop the situation.
No, exactly.
And then that's it. It's never to pass the point. Like I mean, at least for me.
You don't have nothing to prove, man. And the thing is, when you got like well trained, when you spar, when you are very aware of the damage that you can do to people, you avoid fights all the time. You avoid discussions and stuff because
and also with the damage that other people could do to you, because other people could have a gun. Or a knife or whatever, like,
exactly.
I'm not fighting you, bam, you dead.
Exactly. That's the thing that you don't want to basically
You never
like.
know that.
Yeah, you want to avoid fights. You just like, hey, fine. They can call you names and stuff and everything, but every martial arts, any person that is like trained in combat sports knows their limit. And if that person doesn't have the chip on the shoulder, doesn't have anything to prove, it's like, hey, you know what? You're fine. You're right. You're just gonna walk away. It's not necessary.
It's not.
You can either hurt that person really bad, or that person can retaliate
And kill you.
and kill you. It might be with a knife.
Or it might not even be that day.
Exactly.
That's another people.
Exactly.
That's a lot of people because people get angry like, oh, you did this to me,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
and then they hold that shit like a grudge. And then
Yeah.
for you, you're just like, I was just protecting myself.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
And it's like,
Yeah.
it's fucked up, bro.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Marsa. Like once you become like, hey, I can do this. Like, is that necessary? You're gonna ask yourself, is that necessary, man? You just wanna, like avoid fights all the time. Arguments
Yeah.
that are gonna be like,
For what?
It doesn't gonna like be beneficial for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing is gonna
Yeah.
bring, like, a point. What's the point of hurting you? The moment that you're gonna be using your martial arts, your skills, is like when shit hit the fans.
Yeah.
When somebody start messing up with a loved one, let's say your girlfriend,
Yeah.
your son,
Or someone's really trying to like come at you. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, yo, I rarely ever get into a fight. The last time I got into a fight was because the dude tried to stab me.
Oh no, you gotta defend yourself.
The dude
Absolutely,
just, like,
absolutely. Yeah.
And then I was like, nah, bro.
It's not gonna happen,
Yeah.
but you know, you defend yourself. That's a good thing about, you know, like knowing martial arts, knowing any contact sports or grappling sports. It can save your life, you know. But
It could really save your life.
yeah,
It could really save your life.
I got a story that back in Venezuela, there was um, a well-known martial artist, and he basically taught his brother kung fu, traditional kung fu. And I remember that it was the guy that taught him kung fu. He was in the most famous school back in the days. The name of the school was La Danza del Dragón. Very, very popular in Venezuela. I think that it was the school, the headquarters, it was in Valencia, but they were like an amazing school. So the guy, the brother of the martial artist, he was unfortunately hanging out with the wrong people. So long story short, the guy basically beat two people at the same time, and he used his kung fu, defending himself and everything. He beat the guys up. So half hour, 15 minutes later, the guys came back with guns and unfortunately killed the guy.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like, you know, you as a martial artist, like, you're gonna choose your battles. It's like, if you see that
If you see a motherfucker's crazy as fuck,
yeah,
it has nothing to lose.
yeah, exactly.
Why are you gonna fuck him up?
Exactly.
Unless if you're gonna kill him, because he's gonna come back for more, yo.
Exactly.
He's gonna come back for more, yo.
Yeah.
It's fucked up. That's why I don't like, yo, like, I don't fucking play around with crazy. Once I see that you're crazy, alright. You know what I mean?
No, exactly.
And they don't, like, people like that, they don't see you. They see, like, right through you.
Interesting. Like,
You get what I mean by that?
no, I don't see.
You're nothing.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like, I can't, even to my enemy, I can't look at them and say, you're nothing.
of course.
I'm not that type of person. You know what I mean? Like, I got love in my heart. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
For real. You know, like, for when I see that, I'm just like, damn, yo, like, something's like blocking your shit. For me, I wouldn't want to live a life like that, bro. I like the life of love, bro. I like the life of living, you know what I mean? I like the life of, like, you know what I mean, many blessings upon. You know what I mean? Like, I think when you live this way.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
like, but I just don't register with that genetic. I feel like it's a genetic code. I don't even know. Or maybe it's not. I don't know why some people are like that, bro.
Yeah,
Evil spirits, bro.
Exactly. It's
Evil
like
fucking spirits.
aggression, but you know, like, the beauty of martial arts
Yeah.
is that you tame your own demons.
Yes. Oof. Yes.
And
Yes.
it's a constant.
Yes.
It's a constant battle.
Yeah.
Some people, I got my own demons, you know, as a martial artist, and the beauty of martial arts is, like, one of the things that my Shifu Yoni, he taught me, like, and he gave me, like, notes, and he said the point of learning martial arts is, like, you're not gonna use it just when you're fighting. No. The beauty of it is, like, you try to apply it in your daily life. And this is one of the things that I keep forgetting sometimes. And it's like, you know, it's like basically like a sport. That sometimes, like, you're not gonna engage on physical altercation. Sometimes it's gonna be like daily life, you know, interacting with people. Sometimes, you know, you're gonna engage in verbal arguments, and sometimes, you know, sometimes you have to shut up, just for the sake of, like, having your peace of mind, and, you know, you don't have to prove anything, and sometimes you gotta stand your ground and go to words. And that's the aspect that my Shifu taught me, like, on basically, like, on applying, like, certain things, to your daily life, and that's the beauty of it.
That's true, and it is true. But we're also combating the reality of
Yeah.
life, which
Yeah.
is money talks.
Exactly.
And like everything else is just like, you know, we want to become successful to the point that we could provide, right?
Exactly, yes.
Everybody. But it's also to the detriment of how society is set up to get that success.
Yes.
You know, like it's very rare you find people that are billionaires that do it the right way.
Oh, correct. Principles.
You know what I mean? Like
Principles,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
Yes,
So
yes.
there's like certain things won't mix well with, I think, the teachings of mixed martial arts and with the teachings of like harder traditional, more rooted teachings. You
No,
know?
exactly.
And but that I feel like that's why it's always kind of like a constant battle.
Yes, and it's like a hard one, because you're gonna be sometimes
Internal
so
battle.
obligated,
Yeah.
to do things.
Like think about like how you were saying before, right? Like, you know, it was difficult to continue forward in a way because you have all these life things going on around you.
Yeah.
You know,
Pay your bills.
Yeah.
You know, like you gotta pay the car, you gotta pay your rent, you gotta basically like clothing,
Buy food.
buy food.
That's
You
all
gotta
going
take
up.
care of your loved ones, your mom. You gotta take care of your brother. You gotta take care of your girlfriend. You have to basically like do all this stuff like that. And sometimes it's gonna be like, fuck, how am I gonna be doing this? And like, hey, it's not easy. It's like sometimes like a gray line that you have to basically do that. So good, man.
My bad.
That's so good. It's so good.
It's just we.
Cheers to that.
Yo, but you're right though, and I think it's also kind of like one of those situations where everything's revolved around your choices and what you want to do.
Oh, correct.
You know, I got hit by a bus when I was younger.
Oh, wow.
So like, and then I started doing mixed martial arts after that. So getting hit in the head and all that shit, I was like, damn, this is not for me either.
No.
You know what I mean? Like for me, I love the training and like I love doing it, but to do that for years, I feel like my mind would deteriorate. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And that's good, because you were basically like, hey, this is not my path. But you know, that's good that somehow you realize that, and basically, you know, it's like learn the philosophies out of there. Because the beauty of like learning the, you know, martial arts is there is like this aspect of Zen philosophy. Unfortunately, like I'm not gonna be able to explain it like that, but it's basically like trying sometimes to go with the flow, see your own actions, try to be better in every aspect of your life. One thing that the trainer, the guy that you got the podcast, Felipe, he said it's not about like doing the right thing when everybody's looking at you. It's like when nobody's looking at you and you're doing the right thing, then you got, you know, the heart and the principles out of that, because they were rooted on you.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that you try to follow. It's like be better each day.
Always.
And it's like, you know, it's a room for improvement for everything.
Always, every single time, man. And it's also like that's why I like to smoke my weed. It's also about enjoyment. I find I do a lot, bro. I do a lot, and for me to have my moments of enjoyment, I like to have that. You know, like always now and then you should have your brownie. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I got my beer.
Yeah.
I got my whiskey. I got my mama Juana. You know. It's just basically like, hey, you know, it's like whenever you know you want, and making sure it's fine. You know, it's not affecting you in your daily life.
You just gotta keep your ducks in order.
Yep.
That's it. Yo, I got this part in the podcast that I have the individual write their name or whatever they want on the giraffe.
Oh, really? That's really nice. I like it. Oh, there you go.
Anywhere.
Let's put over here. This is really nice, man.
Yeah, man.
How you got this giraffe?
When I used to work at UPS.
Oh, nice.
From Bloomingdale's.
It's really nice. I love it.
This was funny. Hey, nice. You took you fucking put your whole name. That's fire though. Hey,
You never know, man.
you never know, bro. That's true.
So yeah, thank you so much.
So yeah.
I love it. I love the giraffe.
Se llama Esperanza.
Esperanza. Ah, ya veo. Color verde. Color verde y con los lentes acá. Ahí está.
So,
Yes.
I have a part also in the podcast where I ask the guests, can you give me a question that I could bring out into society? And I go ask that question.
A question.
Be anything.
Nothing that I'm thinking about.
No?
Oh. How you came up with the idea of doing the podcast?
No, that. Thank you for that question. And I could answer that like later, but this is a question for the people. You know what I'm saying? Like not me, like somebody, like any. It could be any question.
Any question? You made me think, man.
Yeah. Think. Don't worry.
I try to ask something, but not sound like cheesy, you know, because sometimes I think like I'm very, I can say judgmental. I'm being honest here with you, with myself.
So like, have a question surrounding that. Like, I have a question, but I want you to like come up with it. It's your question.
Yeah, let me think, man. Don't think too hard. This basically, how can you sometimes have the balance of not take yourself seriously? This is the thing. But also, you know, is like make things enjoyable. I don't know if my question makes sense.
So how can you find the balance of not taking things so seriously and also enjoying life?
Yeah, you know, being playful.
Okay. Boom. So how can you find the balance of not taking things so seriously and enjoying life? For you.
I got a difficult life, so balance is just not good. You just can't care about the fucked up shit that's happening. You just keep striving to do the right thing.
That's it. Not giving a fuck. You heard? Good looking. I appreciate that.
Yo sé.
¿Y tú?
That's a hard question because sometimes, you know, people think like I'm too serious, you know, como dice en Venezuela, careculo.
Caraculo.
But it's just that. Because, you know, one of the things that I notice about you is that you are always like very playful.
Yeah.
And you're very approachable. And sometimes, you know, like appearances can be, I can say, deceiving. I would like to, I don't know, how can I make myself like more approachable, more playful? Because you were like basically like, hey, how you doing? I remember you when I was working at the store at Dior as a security, and everybody look at you and man, how you doing? Hey, Mars, how are you? And everything, and you got a conversation. You were very easy to talk.
Yeah.
But I guess probably my personality, my upbringings, is like very like straightforward, and sometimes, you know, that's not the right approach. It's like find like a balance.
It's not a bad thing either, though. You know, everybody is different. You know, and I think that it's also you gotta accept your differences. You know, and then also like,
that's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
And also flow with that too, because sometimes like you'll shine with that. You know, in a different way.
True.
You know, I think the reason why I am the way I am is also because just growing up here and then also coming from a different country.
Yeah.
From a young age, I feel like because I was so young, like you adapt quicker, to want to like converse with different people more, especially in New York because there's so many different fucking people here.
No,
You know
absolutely.
what I mean? And when you're always moving from place to place, you're never really having like a set of friends. So
True.
it's just like
That gotta be really hard, man.
Nah, it's just like life, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I feel
You
like
find that early like that, like
yeah.
oh,
I
that's
always,
interesting.
I always felt like it was more so part of the journey. You know what I mean? Like the people you come across, the conversations you've had, those moments are that moment, and that's why I appreciate those moments so much. I try not to like be so negative, and and I've had moments in my life where I felt negative, and I noticed I'm like, oh shit, let me take a look at the people around me. Let me see like what's going on around me. You know what I mean? And I know when I feel good. I know when I feel good with the right people.
Nice,
You know, and
nice.
then I know when I know when I don't. And that's why I'm like, it's not a bad thing to know that chemistry works with some people and then it's not gonna work with others.
True,
You gotta understand
true.
there's so many people.
Absolutely.
You can't expect it to work for everybody. But it's also good to
Wisdom over there.
It's
Yeah.
also good to be aware of that, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
then
no.
that way you're not annoyed by it. You know, like
I find that the hard way, you know.
I feel you. Me too, though. Me too, bro. You think this is easy to say now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is easy to say now. I didn't have that understanding at all, man. It took a while, and then when it made sense and it didn't bother me anymore, then you start to see how other people get bothered. And then you're just like, well, what the fuck? Like, why are you bothered? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yes,
you
yes,
know?
yeah.
And it's
You're
like,
right.
all right, then you're like, all right, this is what it is. You know? And it's like, all right, whatever. People.
No, that's,
Human psychology.
yes.
You know, like, yeah, if you could understand yourself, you could understand people, right?
Boom.
You know
Boom.
what I mean?
Yeah, that's part of like the it's something like so obvious, but it's part of the philosophy is like understand yourself. This is one thing that I learned like also in martial arts. I got the opportunity to train with this Shaolin monk. His name was Shifu Xinyan Min. And I remember that in the early 2000s and also in the late 90s, I think that for the people that know this, is like China somehow like make like a cultural exchange with the United States. I'm not sure, probably I might be wrong. And they
Cultural exchange?
yeah, somehow. One of the cultural exchange, it was like a tour of Shaolin monks. And the Shaolin monks, they're like legit Shaolin monks, like,
The real
from
deal.
China. Yeah, the real deal. Martial arts, Zen Buddhism and stuff. Hundreds of years, like preserving the martial arts. It's a very, very interesting story that the Shaolin monks and the Shaolin monastery have. So, long story short, Xin Yan Min and other monks, they did the tours and stuff, and some, I guess, probably like he decided to basically to desert out of the group with other monks, and basically he established himself here in New York City, and he did his own thing, and he got the opportunity to meet the rest from Wu-Tang Clan and make friends with them, and basically he fought for asylum.
He fought for asylum?
Yeah, for asylum. Yeah, and also he said he was if he came back from China and he with all this trouble that he caused, probably he was gonna be executed because you are basically like deserting your own country. And this is one thing that I remember that when I trained with him when I came here in Venezuela and I saw him, and then one of the things that besides of training hard, it was the aspect of sharing this philosophy. Understand yourself. If you understand yourself, you're gonna be better. It's part of the things that you say. It's that ring a bell when you say that.
Yeah, man, it's true. Because if you don't have it, then like you're always blocking yourself
Yeah.
from truly
Connecting with people,
yeah.
doing like the real interactions,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like, oh yeah, that's a good point that you said, man. And it's just like understand yourself, and like then everything else is gonna flow. It's gonna be much more better, and
Absolutely.
you're gonna be like that because there is like confusion outside. Sorry,
No, you're good.
and is basically that like part of the programs that we have is like we don't try to understand ourselves, and we are like in constant progress, constant evolution.
Yes.
And this is one thing that we have to like get it through our heads. It's like we are in a constant progress, in a constant evolution, work in progress.
Yeah.
That's what
We
we
are.
are.
It's a constant project, and like you always gotta remember, you're always learning, right? Like you're not gonna stop learning until you die. Hopefully, I feel like the people that like you're like, I know I got it all figured out. They're always grouchy. They're always pissed off. They're always tight.
Yeah.
You know, like nah, you gotta be open. So you're a personal trainer.
Yes.
And you always like get different people when you're going out in the world, or how do you go about like getting clients?
Well, I'm currently working in a big box gym.
Nice.
It's well known. It is brand Equinox, and basically sometimes the membership advisors they handle prospect client to us, or sometimes we gotta go on the floor and hustle our way to get our clients. So usually the process is that we trainers we ask different questions.
Like what?
Basically, like what do you do for a living? How's your lifestyle? What are the goals that you want to basically
Achieve.
help you to achieve with me? How can it be useful to you in achieving that? And we do a series of assessment, physical assessment, measuring of muscle skeletal mass. What else? The distribution that it has, how well you move, how can I improve that? And based off that, basically, we basically try to do the right program for them, because it's basically like we are like tailors,
right?
If it makes sense.
Yeah,
like the suit is your body and your muscles.
It's fit for your
needs. Yeah. Exactly. And that's one of the things that by asking the right questions, because it's really hard to ask the right questions, isn't it?
Yeah.
If I ask something that is very interesting, as you asked me before, like that made me think, and like, oh shit, that's a good question. And basically, like the client can basically, oh, that's a good question. I don't know, might be doing this and everything, and like they somehow they get interested about your style. That's the first day. Then the second day is a complementary training session, and during that is like you're gonna pick the right exercise for the person, because everybody moves in a certain way.
Yeah.
Everybody has a different needs, and
that's true.
It's basically like put the right exercise for that person, because the way I train myself, it might not be good for you, or my style, it might be suitable for you, or it might not, because mine is like kind of like more performance. I can say holistic.
How holistic?
Holistic, because everything changes everything. Nutrition, the way you sleep,
right,
the way you behave, and is everything is interrelated, correlated exactly. And that's the thing about like like if you put everything like together, it's like a chain. It's gonna affect like the way you are.
Oh yeah, hands down. It affects your whole rhythm.
Exactly. And that's the thing about it. And right after that, if the person decides to stay with me, fine. If the person doesn't, this is what I do. There are some trainers that they go basically harass you, hey, why? And then when the person, when you say no 2 or 3 times and everything, I understand. I let you go. Hey, no worries. I even like I can basically try to hook you up with another trainer
Right.
that is suitable for you. Because
That's real.
I see
That's
your
real.
Instagram,
Right.
and you are more like a bodybuilding type. You know, you want to look good and everything. But mine is like more functional. Let's say if you got like an injury, I can help you. Hey, don't worry, Marce, you got a shoulder injury and everything. So sure, let me see like your story. Let me see your doctor. Are you seeing a physical therapist? How can I help you? And basically, to what the story is like telling about yourself, how well you move your shoulder and stuff, what your physical therapist says, what your doctor says. Then I try to basically relate with them. And the common good is like making your shoulder better.
Right.
And that's basically like my approach. The
More
way that I like to
functional.
train.
Yeah.
Exactly. There is nothing wrong with bodybuilding. Bodybuilding is amazing, but it's not my style.
Yeah.
And I'm skinny motherfucker. I see myself that way, and basically like if you want to look good and everything, and more like a bodybuilder type,
Right.
I send you to someone that is like suitable for you.
Right.
I'm not gonna force myself upon you or for that. No, choose me and everything. Nah.
Right.
It doesn't work that way. This is one thing that I learned through experience, and also through other stuff. It's
Well,
like
it's
try to
kinda-
have common sense.
It's back
you
to
know?
what we were saying. It's about chemistry, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a certain chemistry.
Yeah.
That you have gathered and respected within yourself,
Yeah.
and that's what you want to like show, and you accept if other people want a different way. Like it's just what it is.
Exactly, and this is one thing, man. Like, hey, when things are like that, like when everything flows, man, it's just amazing.
It is.
But there are sometimes, yeah, sure, you might basically like try to basically force things and everything. Sure, that might help. You gotta be wise, how you gonna be using that. But other ways, like, there are some people that basically like, I can say organically, it grows smooth, nice, and that's the thing that I learned sometimes, interacting with people, past experiences, and it's just that, trying to be better. That's the way that I basically I use the approach with clients and
Step by
stuff.
step, man. Right.
Step by step and everything. It might not be working in that, let's say, model for me that basically like, yeah, aggressive and everything, but but it's better to have good connections. So it's just about like connecting with the people, being useful to them, and it's just that like if you find me useful, and if you want to keep me for 3 months, 2 months, 6 months, whatever you're able to do, whatever is on your budget,
Right.
amazing. But if you want to keep me for long,
Right.
that's the beauty of like this profession.
Right.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not fucking easy because you have to basically like develop thick skin, and basically like you're gonna receive a lot of no's. You're gonna receive a lot of people that, hey, I wanna train and everything, and all of a sudden like 2 weeks later, as Felipe said, then they don't do it because they think it's a magic pill. It's not a magic pill. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, and like the best thing that I can do as a coach or personal trainer, inspire discipline. Because motivation is like it's like the waves. It comes and it comes on, and it goes off.
It does. Yeah.
And
you have to keep staying inspired. That's why the interactions are important.
Yeah.
I find like doing this podcast is what keeps me inspired as well with the other things that I do in my own life.
Yeah.
With my music and everything else that keeps me happy, So like for me, I find everybody just gotta try if they can, if they want to, interact more. When you interact more, good interactions come. I'm gonna get more water. You want more water?
Absolutely, man. Thank you. Make sure that the person is comfortable, and especially because number one is investing money. All right. which is sometimes is no, for certain people it's gonna be like, hey, you know, you te estás haciendo tripas corazón, you know, you putting a lot of effort, you getting the, you know, you making some sacrifices and stuff. But for the people that I work, it's basically like around this like around Times Square, the gym is located. Sure, I might wanna have like a clientele that they have the means to do that. Sure, they're gonna invest the money, but the thing is like they're gonna put the effort, the energy, and the time, and you know that requires a lot of time and commitment. And the thing is like, hey, if you consider I'm the right guy for you, just put some effort in it, because it's like a tango. And
It's like a tango.
yeah, it's take two to tango, right?
Yeah.
Then that's basically
To the tango, right?
yeah. And you know, it's just that, you know, Martha.
By the way,
yeah.
Mars. All right, so that's my Instagram handle, right? A go to Mars is my Instagram handle.
There you go.
But I go by AGO.
Go. There you go.
Yeah.
Go to him. And that's the aspect that basically is like you wanna make sure that interaction is legit. Because here's the thing. As a personal trainer, there are certain things that they share with me. You know, family stuff, problems and stuff, and you know, it's like sometimes you're gonna be like the therapist somehow. You know, if there are things that they basically I can say share with you that, you know, requires another like professional. Let's say they're going through hard times. They need some sort of therapy and stuff.
Right.
They need to see another professional. The best thing that I find logical to do is like don't try to be like their savior. It's like you go with your on your lane, and you know, refer them out to someone that, you know, is like, you know, capable in helping them in that aspect.
Right. You want to refer them.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Because sometimes like this is one thing that I see many people that they use as an exercise as a way to basically to escape from problems, and it's good, but we got our mind, we got our body, and sometimes the mind requires like other solutions rather than moving. Moving is good, don't get it twisted. You know, if you move, if you do things, if you lift the stuff, and you know, you work vigorously, sure, you're gonna be helping your body, okay? But the other aspect that requires like somehow like, you know, another professional, let's say a psychologist, a psychiatrist. It might not be like that demanding and that stuff, but like, you know, connection with a family member, somebody like that, so they, you know, you can be heard and everything, and then you can vent out with them. That's amazing. And it's just that sometimes it's the best thing to do is to know your limits, and you know, like know where you can help as a professional,
Right.
Also, like, you know, like know your limits. That's one thing that I
know your limits. That's with everything, I find too, right? People sometimes they pasa la niña.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
like to pass the line a lot.
Yes.
Right? With many things, gambling with their lives.
Oh yes.
You know, like.
And this is one thing that is like one thing that I remember that a client, not a client, it was a regular in a gym that I was starting here in Queens, Big Six gym. And I remember that this guy was a cardiologist, and you know, he looked heavy. He didn't look like a bodybuilder, but he lifted heavy. And this is one thing that I remember that he told me that, hey, he called me master trainer, and it was my first year as a trainer. And he told me like, look, you gotta basically take this seriously, because people are putting their body on your hands. and this is like, oh shit, and like the best thing that you can do as a professional, or if you are trying to be better at this craft, is like be on your shit. Know your anatomy, know your exercises, know your regression, progression stuff, know be the best you can in this, because people are putting their bodies into that. You're gonna be making mistakes. I done mistakes, and but I try to basically fix it as soon as possible. Because like is God forbid you get injured in your low back, and the best thing for me is like basically be there with you, ask you, hey, how are you feeling? And everything. No, I'm not feeling great, man. All right, you know what? Go to the hospital. And we'll call you, and I'm gonna make sure that you're fine. But I'm gonna call you, and that's the best way that you can do in these situations, because sometimes shit hit the fans, and it's either like it might be your fault or it might not be your fault, or sometimes it's just like random act that all of a sudden you get injured, and then like you were doing everything correctly.
People could do the same thing. I had somebody. Shout out King Rich. He was saying like I would do the same thing for years, and then one day just that shit happens.
Yes,
it just happens.
Exactly, and that's the thing. Like as a trainer, it's like, oh, hey, how are you? How's everything going? Call you from the hospital.
Kind of go back to like know your limits. Right?
Exactly.
Exactly. You gotta be vocal. I feel like people aren't vocal enough. Really, that's another thing too.
Exactly. Boundaries, limits. Yes, sir. Yep.
That's the problem, though. Because if you're not, how am I supposed to know that?
Exactly. Exactly.
It's a tango, right?
Exactly. And here's the thing. I got some stories like people who passed out in front of me on training. Yes. And it wasn't my fault.
Right.
I remember that this guy basically he got several comorbidities. He got Crohn's disease. He got high blood pressure. He got other stuff going on. And I remember that it was in the same gym that I met the cardiologist guy, and he was doing phenomenal, and he was doing a core exercise. He was doing like moving the medicine ball side to side, to strengthen the obliques. Then all of a sudden, this guy sat and he looked at me and said, "Hey, good job, amazing, good." And he started looking at me that way, and then like, "Why are you looking at me?" 2, 3, 5 seconds later, he started drooling. And he said it was tilting to the side. He passed out in front of me.
Oh, shit.
Then I called the desk associate. Hey, call 911. I need some help. And thank God there was like a nurse, a male nurse, who helped me. He said, "Hey, clear the area, put his head on the floor, and bring me some Gatorade, bring me some water." And we called the 911. Ambulance came by, and by the time they came, the guy recovered a little bit consciousness.
Oh, wow.
And the reason was that he didn't eat and he didn't drink.
Oh shit!
And this is one thing that the best way you can.
4 hours before.
4 hours before, yeah. And like, hey, you
should read this book called Nutrient Timing. It's super good.
Yes.
Have you ever heard of it?
No, I haven't heard, but I might take a look.
By Lauren Link. Nutrient Timing by Lauren Link.
I gotta look it up.
Really good, phenomenal. Yeah, you will understand how perfect it is, and I think you will enjoy it.
Yes.
And it would be great for your training development with people as well.
Exactly.
I'm telling you. So, I mean, is there anything that you would say to your younger self, though?
Anything to my younger self? Yes. Respect and love yourself. This is one thing. And sometimes the root of most of the problems is like we don't respect
or love ourselves.
Yeah,
man, you can say that again. Sheesh.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this is one thing that I keep as a mantra. Yeah, like, wait a second. Like, what? Like, wait a second. Respect and love yourself. When you respect and love yourself, is basically you're gonna be more demanding of yourself. You're gonna basically question yourself and like, hey, is this benefiting me in the long term and everything?
Yeah.
And basically you're gonna put yourself and you're gonna basically like be better around other people. Because if you're doing that, you know, like, hey, like if you see yourself in the mirror and you don't like what you see, you take action and you improve yourself. By improving yourself, like, who knows, you can do a lot of changes.
When you could do a lot of changes when you're respecting your love, when you respect and love yourself, and you show to the people that don't love and respect themselves to love and respect themselves.
Exactly.
Because I think like,
you don't take as much shit, unnecessary shit from people.
Yeah, but not only that, it's just like for the people that aren't respecting and loving themselves, maybe they're blocking themselves and they're lost in something, they're in hurt. You know what I mean? A lot of times there's a lot of those people, and they don't have communication sometimes enough with people that are telling them that they should be loving and respecting themselves.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It goes back to like, there's like a study, and I spoke about this before, but there's a study where there was these two set of plants, and they had a group of kids say bad things to one plant and good things to the other plant. They were feeding the plant the same, you know what I mean, with water, right? But one was flourishing and one was dying.
Yes.
And we're plants, bro. You know what I mean?
Sir.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
like,
sir. Cheers to that. Cheers to that.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's true. It's just basically that, because like when this is one thing that I came like 2 months ago and stuff, and also I like to read a little bit of philosophy. It's like, you know, small things like paragraphs and stuff. And this is one thing I think that Rumi, it is like a Muslim philosopher. He said like, you know, like something similar like that is like I start being friend of myself. When you start being friend with yourself, sometimes, you know, the root of like things like the behaviors that are not beneficial for us are gonna be detrimental. It's like we don't appreciate ourselves enough. We appreciate other people, but when you start like appreciating yourself and everything, and then like, hey, you know what, this is not good for me, and you know it, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, let's do this and everything. Like when you start feeling about you're good with yourself and everything, like everything, I don't know, becomes like better.
Comes together more.
Yeah.
That's true. And also, it kind of gives you that space away, you know, to separate yourself from what other people are putting you as the societal problems, right?
Absolutely.
Like, there's a lot of things that are societal problems. There's a lot of things that are your own problems. You can't allow the societal problems to confront with your own problems, because then you'll never confront and finish your own problems. Societal problems will always be societal
Exactly.
problems.
It's like, you know, taking responsibility for yourself. You are your biggest responsibility.
Yeah, man.
And it's just that.
Yeah, and how you interact with your community. I think that's the most important thing. You know what I mean? Like, how you interact with those people around you. You know what I mean? Like, also respecting yourself. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes, like I said, you're not going to click with everybody.
It's true.
It's just going to, you know, it's just what it is.
Correct. Correctamente.
Yo, and yeah, you have any questions for me?
The question that like how you came up with the idea of the podcast.
Man, I always knew that I always interact with so many people, and I could talk to so many people that I was like, yo, everybody has something really good to say. You know what I mean? That, whether someone agrees with it or not, you know. But like you like the podcast I did with Felipe. You know what I mean? Like,
he got a beautiful specimen of dog over here.
She's a Cane Corso. She's a big dog, like 110 pounds.
Intimidating, but she's a sweetheart.
She is. But yeah, I honestly feel like everyone really does have something to say. You know, I feel like God put us here for a reason. You know,
Correct.
and I also feel like people judge a lot of people. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, fuck that. You know what I mean? When I could connect with someone, and I feel like they have something to say. Like you said, you were nervous in the beginning.
Oh,
but
yeah,
like,
I'm still.
Nah, but you did a good job. You know what
Thank
I mean?
you.
Like,
Thank you so much.
And it was a flow. You know what I mean? Like I don't think that anyone should be nervous to express who they are and how they are. You know, and that's why I said you're gonna see the good, bad, and ugly with me. Cause I've been doing this for so long. You're gonna see who I am. You know what I mean? That's why I'm like, fuck it.
No, that's good.
You're just gonna see. You know, like it's just what it is. But man, this is really good, and I am happy that you are also a chamo.
Dale, gracias, calidad, mi pana.
No, for real, like, and it's cool.
Gracias.
And you've always given me like mad respect and love always. Then like I met you, man, and I was like, yo, I gotta hit him up. You know, like have him be on the podcast.
Thank you, gracias.
Yeah, no, thank you. And also, where can the people find you, bro? Like if they're looking to train and like. Tell them what. Matter of fact, before you tell them where they can find you, tell them what they can expect from you as a personal trainer, and then tell them where you can find you.
Well, you're gonna expect with me is basically I'm gonna keep challenge you, and you're gonna be basically a best version of yourself. It's about becoming better every time. It's not gonna be pretty. It's not gonna be basically like a smooth ride, but it will be worthy. And you can find me on Instagram as entrenador _Pantera. So entrenador space
Underscore
underscore Pantera IG. That's my IG.
So yeah.
Muchísimas gracias por tenerme, mi pana. Gracias.
Gracias a ti. Hey.
Coño.
Let's go.
It's the conversation. Yeah. Take your mind different places. Now you know.